Hey friends, happy Monday and welcome back to another week of What's for Dinner. If you're new here, hello and welcome. I am Taylor and I share What's for Dinner videos just like this every Monday to hopefully help you meal plan and cook more at home for your family. I share the grocery haul videos every Wednesday, and in that you can see the upcoming meal plan, and then on Mondays I share the What's for Dinner where I cook the things for you most of the time. This week I don't have a lot of stuff that I'm cooking step by step. We had quite a few easy things. It's just been pretty busy here this spring, getting stuff done around the house and out and just doing lots of things. So I like to keep dinners pretty simple, like come home and actually cook, because if I don't make it simple, then I sometimes will not want to cook it. So let's go ahead and get into this week's What's for Dinner. Starting off with Friday night, we had some Gochujang chicken thighs, and I'm doing these in the Instant Pot. The recipe that I'm following is originally supposed to be for the crock pot, but I didn't feel like prepping this early in the day, so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to throw it in the Instant Pot and it will be fine. So I've added a little bit of oil to my Instant Pot on the saute function, and then I'm adding in some of the little frozen ginger cubes and garlic cubes, and then I'm adding in some gochujang, whatever I had left in the little package. I think it was less than the recipe called for. It was more like 1/4 of a cup instead of 1/3 of a cup. And then some soy sauce. And then I'm also doing some brown sugar, some sesame oil, and some water. And I've just got this on the saute function so that I can all blend together, get heated up a little bit. And then I'm going to add in some boneless, skinless chicken thighs, get them kind of coated in the sauce, and then put on some salt and pepper, and then I put the lid on this and let it cook on manual high pressure for 12 minutes, and then I let it do a natural release. And then once it was done and all the steam was released, I think this took about 12 minutes for it to naturally release, I went in and I just kind of shredded up the chicken a little bit, kind of just chopped it with the spoon. And then I decided that I wanted the sauce a little bit thicker, so I whisked together 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and some water, and then added that in, and it instantly thickened up the sauce a little bit. And I served this on top of some white rice that I also made in the Instant Pot. And then I made some zucchini in the air fryer. It was actually zucchini and yellow squash. I had one of each left, and so I cut those up and air fried them with a little bit of garlic powder and salt and pepper, and I think that was it. And then that was our dinner. It was super good. The gochujang stuff makes the meal so flavorful. I've made a couple different recipes with it, and I will definitely repurchase it and continue to make recipes with it. Saturday night we had Tuna Melts. Andy made a tuna melt for me for the first time way back, and I had never had one before, but now it's something that we all enjoy. I just make my tuna with some mayonnaise, mustard, salt, pepper, garlic powder, mix it all together, and then I toast the sourdough bread just a little bit, and once it's a little bit toasted, I put on the tuna mixture and then top it with some cheddar cheese and stick it back in the air fryer and let it get all melty and finish toasting, and it's delicious. Most of us like it as an open face type of thing, but Elijah prefers it as a sandwich, so I toast up an extra piece of bread so he can close it up and have a sandwich, because he says it's too much tuna otherwise. He doesn't like the ratio of the open-faced tuna melts. He needs a little bit more bread. To go with it, we all had some fresh veggies, and then we also had our choice of chips on the side as well. Sunday night we had spaghetti, and we had broccoli on the side, and then we also had spaghetti squash. It's really hard to see it in our bowls, but most of us do have a little bit of spaghetti squash as well as noodles, and we're using angel hair pasta this night. And I get in a mood sometimes where I just don't want spaghetti. I put it on the meal plan. I did the meal plan. I know my family will eat spaghetti, but sometimes while I'm cooking it, I'm just this meat and sauce just is not what I want to eat right now. So then I end up eating butter noodles because it just reminds me of being a kid. I loved butter noodles as a kid. I would go to Olive Garden and get butter noodles because I didn't really like meat sauce, and I was a very picky eater as a child. But I just put a little bit of butter on my noodles and then some garlic powder and some Parmesan cheese. And then I also mixed in some of the spaghetti squash, and they were delicious, but everybody else enjoyed the spaghetti that night. Monday night, we basically had copycat Chick-fil-A. We used the Aldi red bag chicken and their brioche buns. And then we had some tater tots on the side. And those of us that like salad had salad on the side. And Lily, of course, hates salad, so she just had some fresh veggies. We used the chicken dipping sauce. That's pretty new, I think, from Aldi. And it tastes like the Chick-fil-A sauce from Chick-fil-A, and then we actually do have a bottle of the Chick-fil-A Polynesian sauce because that's like one of Lily's favorite sauces. She likes Polynesian, and she likes the one that's similar to the sweet and sour sauce at McDonald's. You can get one that's like very similar to it at Kroger, and she really likes that too, but we haven't had that in a while. She's been eating the Polynesian instead. Sunday night, we had what I'm going to call shrimp bowls. The thing that takes the longest for this is actually making the cowboy caviar. I had an aunt who made something very similar to this. I don't have her exact recipe, but she made something like this like years ago, and Andy loved it so much he asked for the recipe. We lost the recipe, haven't made it in years, but I saw something that looked very similar to it on Lemon 8. Somebody was making like grilled shrimp bowls, and they had like some sort of veggie and bean mixture, but I was like, I don't like the way that one looks, but it makes me think that some cowboy caviar would be really good with some shrimp bowls. So that's what like inspired this. But I will link down below the exact recipe that I used for the cowboy caviar, so you guys can go there and get the exact measurements. In a large bowl that has a lid, I have already added 1 can of drained and rinsed black beans and 1 can of drained and rinsed pinto beans. Then I'm adding in some diced jalapeno and diced red onion, diced red pepper, diced green pepper, 1 can of drained corn, some chopped up tomatoes. I did mine kind of big because Elijah doesn't like tomatoes and it'd be easier for him to pick them out. But if you don't have somebody who hates tomatoes in your house, just cut them smaller. I would definitely recommend cutting them smaller, like more on the size of like everything else. And then also a bunch of fresh chopped cilantro. Then I'm going to whisk together the like dressing. We're going to do 1/3 cup of olive oil, 1/4 cup of fresh lime juice, 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar, a teaspoon of honey or maple syrup. I did maple syrup, a teaspoon of chili powder, 1/2 teaspoon of cumin, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Whisk that together really well, and then we're going to add this to our bean and veggie mixture. And get it all coated really well. And then I let this sit in the fridge for multiple hours. I think I made this around lunchtime. You really want to like let it sit and like marinate, and the juices of everything mix together. It's even better the next day. We did not use it all for dinner, and the next day we were having this for lunch as well because everybody really enjoyed it. Now moving on to my shrimp. I have patted these dry, and then I'm spritzing them with some cooking oil, and then I'm seasoning them with some taco seasoning and getting in there and making sure they're all coated really well. And then in my cast iron pan, I have added a little bit of oil, and I'm just going to fry these up for just a couple of minutes until they are done. It is very quick. And then in my Instant Pot, I made some cilantro lime rice to go with this. I will link a video down below on how I make this. It's really easy. You just make white rice the way you usually would, and then add in a little bit of lime and lemon juice, salt, pepper, and some freshly chopped cilantro. It's super easy, and it tastes like the cilantro lime rice you can get at Chipotle. So we had our rice with our shrimp on top, and then our cowboy caviar, some extra lime on the side, and then me and Lily really like avocado, so we added some of that too. And then the kids had chips on the side. This was delicious. I was kind of iffy on whether everybody would like it, but everybody loved it and is already asking me to make it again. Wednesday night we had a barbecue pork loin and mac and cheese and green beans and some fried apples. So I had this mesquite barbecue pork loin that I got for $2.80 at Kroger, and I'm going to put it in a baking dish and then cover it with some more barbecue sauce. I'm using this gold barbecue sauce that I bought recently at Aldi, and I think it's my new favorite barbecue sauce. It is really good. It's like slightly sweet and tangy. It's really good. And I just put that in the oven, I think on 350 for about 45 minutes. I did what the package said. I think I checked it at 30 and it definitely needed more time. And so I put it back in there until it reached the proper internal temperature. Then I let it sit for a few minutes, sliced it up, and then I made some mac and cheese in the Instant Pot. We had a can of fried apples and then a can of green beans. And the kids are using their little divided plates. It's funny because I got rid of like all their divided plates a couple years ago because they wanted to use the glass plates and be big kids and feel like a grown-up. So I got rid of them all. And then recently at Dollar Tree they were like, we want divided plates, it'll be good for like sauces and stuff. And they feel like little kids again with their little divided plates. But yeah, this pork loin was delicious, nice and juicy, and then the barbecue sauce was really good. And I will leave a video down below on how I make my mac and cheese in the Instant Pot. Thursday night, I'm making another recipe I've made before. This is garlic butter steak bites and potatoes made in the air fryer. So I'm starting off here with my potatoes that I've cut up, and I'm using little baby like medley potatoes, and I'm seasoning them all over some olive oil, salt, pepper, garlic powder, paprika, and parsley. And I'm mixing those together really well, getting them all coated. Then I'm putting them on the air fryer rack, and I cooked them in the air fryer on 400 degrees for about 25 minutes. And I like toss them like halfway through, make sure they get nice and crispy. And while they were cooking, I worked on my steak. For that, I am seasoning them with some olive oil, salt, pepper, garlic powder, and some steak seasoning. The steak seasoning that I use is the one from Aldi. That's like the Montreal steak seasoning. And then when the potatoes were done, I transferred them to a sheet pan and just set them in the oven so they could stay warm while I cooked the steak bites in the air fryer. And I cooked those at 400 for about 7 minutes. It doesn't take long at all. And then when they were done, I put them on that same sheet pan with the potatoes and spread on a little bit of like garlic butter. It's like a tablespoon of butter, some minced garlic, and dried parsley, and just drizzle it over the top of everything. And then this is ready to eat. I served it with some salad on the side, or obviously fresh veggies for Lily. And this is delicious. The steak comes out so tender, and crispy potatoes are so good. There's another recipe for garlic butter steak bites and potatoes, but it's made in the crock pot, which is originally what I was going to make. But then I was like, I don't want soft potatoes. I want crispy potatoes. So when I want to do it that way, I always do it in the air fryer, and it's so good. That is going to be it for this week's What's for Dinner. I hope that y'all got some meal ideas. If you did, let me know which ones you plan on trying down in the comments below. I hope y'all have a great week. I will see y'all on Wednesday with the grocery haul, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye!